Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Open Dialogue. We have the second part of today's show. And in sort of like continuation of reverts, we have a very special person that we're going to be speaking about today. Unfortunately, not in a very good circumstance. We're going to be talking about the current situation and what's happening around Sheikh Zakzaky. And unfortunately, we have a situation that we have a panel that's going to be talking more in depth about what's happening. And if people are not aware, we're going to go into details and also give solutions. With me today in the show, I have Molana Musharaf. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sayyid Razavi.
Assalamu alaikum.
And again, Sister Amy Zainab. Thank you so much for coming.
Assalamu alaikum.
We're going to be talking more about what's the background, the current situation, and obviously solutions. Without further ado, I want to also remind you all that we're going to have a live call-in, so please do call in with any comments, questions, or statements and join in the conversation. So I'll start with you, Molana. Please, could you just give us a little bit of insight of some of the history behind this Sheikh? He's very well known and spoken to majority, but there might be people out there that are still learning about him.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We have seen a lot of people following traditional Islam. And we have seen many others who are following dynamic Islam. But we haven't seen too many examples of dynamic Islam where the people have practically shown the dynamism of Islam. And in the past history, I was lucky to be in the time of Imam Khomeini, to be in the time of Shaheed Arif Hussain al-Husseini, who was martyred on 5th of August in Pakistan. And Allah blessed me with watching him and being with him very close for at least, definitely for 2.5 years. And then after that, I went to Hawza, and that was a different period, but I was connected with him. This, me being professionally an engineer, marine engineer, and then coming back towards the religious side and then seeing that from the top, that was a blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'm in debt to pay that back to the deen. And thirdly, the example that we see of Sheikh Ibrahim Zakzaky, himself, he reverted to Islam.
Yes.
Then he came to the Shiite school of thought, all with his research, with his knowledge, with his rationality, with his thoughts, with his visions, with his insight. Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam says that the Islam that comes with hearsay, just listening to the people what they're saying, is like a very soft religion, I would say in my words. If a small breeze comes, it takes it away. But the deen, the religion that's based on logic and rationality, the mountains will move, that deen will not move from its place. So I see that as a practical example today in Africa, Sheikh Ibrahim Zakzaky. Just watch his actions. Don't listen to his speeches. See how much his speeches and his actions are on the same parameters. He searched that. There was no Shiite, I believe, in Nigeria before he became a Shiite.
Wow.
And you know, when you revere your tribe, your people, your family, your near and dear one, everyone is resisting because everybody doesn't know that depth that you know. But he reverted from, for example, to Christianity, to Islam, and to Shia faith. And that not only did he convert himself, he converted people in millions.
Yes.
You know, we have got countries where there are too many Shiites today. For example, say in Lebanon, in Syria, in Iran, everywhere, in Pakistan, in India, you find in Afghanistan, and too many other countries around the globe.
Yes.
But the second largest mourning procession of Imam Hussein after Karbala is there held in Nigeria.
Wow, amazing.
You know what is the number of people converted? The lowest number that the people show, they say that about 12 million Shiites there. 12 million Shiites there
I wasn't
converted.
aware of that
That's
number.
the lowest estimate.
That's the lowest estimate I'm
Wow.
giving. I'm not giving you the
actual,
20 million.
Yeah.
I'm giving you the lowest
Yeah.
estimate that's possible. And then we see that when he's the peaceful person, when we're preaching everything peacefully, in the condition, like everywhere there's peace and I preach peacefully is a different story. But when you have to, without any reason, without giving any excuse to anybody, you have to pick up the dead bodies of your friends, of your near and dear ones, of your children. 6 of his children, 5 of them martyred, 3 in one occasion and 2 in another occasion. His wife, she was riddled with bullets. He himself still had 4 bullets in his body. He lost his eye. And he buried his children earlier, he buried his own children. Just watch that movie, that clip on the YouTube, how he is burying. This shows his link with Allah. This shows his submission to Allah. This shows how much you don't see tears in his eyes. Thankfulness. Where we say, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi rajiun. We belong to Allah and to Him we will return. We say with our tongue. He said it practically. He meant it when he was saying, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi rajiun. To Allah we belong and to Him shall we return. This is what he was saying practically. When putting his son, he read the janazah prayers on him, on his son. It's hard. Your baby's born. He's growing up. He starts crawling. He starts standing. He starts moving. He starts running. He starts calling you dad and mom. He grows up and he comes to the teenage. He becomes young and strong. And Ibrahim a.s. is tried when Ismail becomes young and strong. Allah says, come and sacrifice him in the way of Allah. Allah is wahdahu la sharik. He doesn't accept any other love except His love. But He tries only His best people. So there obviously the love of Ibrahim for Ismail was not just for the sake that he's my son. He knew that he's going to become a prophet and messenger after him. He loved him because of that. So when Allah said, sacrifice him. Oh my God. A normal son, for a normal person, is very big trial. But for the higher one, Ulul Azm, Nabi, great prophet, Abraham, he's tried with Ismail. Hazrat Yaqub alayhi salam, he knew when Hazrat Yusuf came to him and told him his dream that 11 of the stars and the sun and the moon are prostrating in front of me. He came to know that I have to prostrate. He is on higher level than myself. So he fell in love with his son. It was not for the sake of being father and son.
No.
It was for the sake of the grades of Hazrat Yusuf. But Allah never accepted that love. Allah doesn't want anybody else's love to the level of Allah's love. My love with Allah should be just my love with Allah. No other thing is accepted. So what Allah did, Allah separated Yusuf from Yaqub for years. He grew up and he told him, he doesn't need you. Father is not there, mother is not there, family is not there, near and dear ones is not there. And he becomes the ruler of Egypt. And to an extent that the father and the son, they are going to see him. Who made him? It's Allah who made him. So this love, these affections, all these, Sheikh Ibrahim Zakzaky proved it 5 times. 5 of his children sacrificed in the name of Imam Hussein, in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the name of Islam. They hadn't done anything. He stood and he's still standing. Nobody can stand with 4 bullets in his body, with sacrificing his eye, with sacrificing. I can sacrifice myself. I would never allow that somebody touch my wife or my children or my near and dear ones. No. See, Hazrat Ayub, when it came to the trial of his wife, he said, oh Allah, this is my last. Only some people stand up. When in Karbala, Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, he knew that he has to sacrifice the veil of Sayyida Zainab, and he said, we belong to you, inna lillah wa inna ilayhi rajiun. So this great I'm saying that if we see Sheikh Zakzaky and we just peep through that, we find a very great personality. No doubt he belongs to Allah, and he is 100% on the, in my opinion, he is on the point of submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And now I was just listening. By chance, I opened the TV
I remember
last
we had
day.
this discussion.
It was not, it was totally unintentional. And I was just turning up channels on the sky, and I went into Arise TV, and there was an interview of a human rights activist and a politician from Nigeria. And the way he was praising Sheikh Zakzaky, and the way he was praising the Shiites of Nigeria, I think we should learn from them how to support someone. He was a politician. He was in the party of the President Buhari of Nigeria. Then he left that, and he's now separated. Sani is the last name, but he is himself from a political family. But the way they are supporting them today, you see, it is the duty of everyone. If I can't stand for Sheikh Zakzaky, rest assured, I will not be there when Imam Mahdi comes.
Definitely not. Sayyid, what is the current situation now that's happening that we need to be more aware of and, take some steps to actually, make the situation a lot better?
Well, a lot is being done from outside Nigeria, inside Nigeria, but people who are behind all these atrocities against Sheikh Zakzaky seems to be not listening to
even the authorities that have actually...
Actually, even the court decided in his favor to be released, but
that's not happening.
How they cannot get him released, this is unbelievable. That shows that
there are some other forces behind the scene.
There are other forces behind the scene, and how much corruption is there.
The corruption.
And which is not even letting the authorities to come forward and do their job.
Yes.
So the only thing we can do is put up the pressure, and I have realized that recently, alhamdulillah, as Molana was mentioning as well, some international media has started to react.
But that's the thing, it's not in the mainstream media. There's not anything like...
Apparently, there was some report in BBC recently.
Because the public media, social media has come up, so they can't keep quiet. They have to say something. If something is happening everywhere, you can't hide it. There's a limit, You can hide, you can bypass, you can ignore things only to some extent. But when everyone is saying that, and it's the word of the town now, writing on the wall,
of course,
Sheikh Zakzaky. Here in New York, there are demonstrations. For example, in Turkey, there were demonstrations. In Pakistan, in India, in other parts. Everywhere there are demonstrations. So you can't keep quiet. You can't say that, oh, nothing is happening and everything is okay. You can ignore certain things for a certain time. But it is gaining momentum, It's not something that it started on the top and it finishes or something.
It cannot be ignored.
It's gaining momentum now.
It cannot be ignored. It has reached to that level.
Of course.
It cannot be ignored anymore.
And Sister Zainab, I was just thinking now, obviously, what we discussed earlier, like with Sheikh Zakzaky, I think it's more like an inspiration and it's more like hope. Because even if we have struggles, it just shows that we should not give up our own faith, and we should not give up, because that's the true believer, even with challenges. And does that give you some sort of like, momentum and inspiration and motivation to continue, even though I can't even compare the struggles that he has, but even though we have everyday struggles, that should be something we should look towards?
I'll be honest with you. I didn't know much about the Sheikh. I knew briefly about him and his situation before tonight, but I didn't know that much. And genuinely, when I was listening to the Molana telling us more about him, I felt a fire in my heart. I really did. This individual, 5 sons, did you say that?
Yeah.
Sacrifice.
It's 5 sons.
Out of 6 sons.
Out of 6 sons, right? This, when you said that, immediately I thought, of Lady al-Baneen alayha salam.
Yeah.
Those 4 sons at Karbala, Jafar, Abdullah, Uthman and Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas alayhim salam. How difficult it was for her to give away sons like that, just to give away a son like Abbas, to give away 4 sons like Abbas. Subhanallah. This Sheikh Zakzaky, he's like a modern day al-Baneen, he and his wife, that have given away their sons. You know, these stories, when we go to Majalis, they're not just stories for us to sit there in the dark and cry our eyes out. These kind of stories, they tell us that you might find yourself in a situation like that. You might see history repeating itself.
Absolutely, yes.
So subhanallah, it's put a fire in my heart, and I hope that we can keep the blessed Sheikh in our prayers, because the prayer should always come before any kind of action
Yes.
that we do, and just continuing putting that pressure on these corrupt leaders, putting pressure on the media to cover this, because in the recent years we've had the Black Lives Matter movement, right?
Yes, yes.
So, but why are they not giving attention to Sheikh Zakzaky?
Absolutely,
Aren't
that
the
is a
people
very
of
good
Nigeria,
point.
aren't they black
Yeah.
people? Aren't they being oppressed? Why shouldn't they be given the spot? Why shouldn't people be helping them the way they're helping other oppressed black people?
Yes, no, it's very, very good points from everyone. So Molana, Musharaf, what is the current situation now that we need to take more action and steps that we feel that
I
as the
think
Muslim...
all the things they are on the crossroad now. Sheikh Zakzaky, health-wise, his wealth is deteriorating and it's going down and down. And there were rumors that he has been
Poisoned, yes.
also, and with his wife, staying with him in the jail, and their health conditions are not very good. That's one.
Apparently his son was poisoned as well.
Yeah.
The remaining son.
Yeah, but he's okay. He's okay. He's not there in the jail with him. But the thing is that Sheikh Zakzaky himself is in a very
Critical state.
Yeah.
critical state. And then the court has decided to give him bail. Even then,
Exactly.
he's not being freed because there are, besides corruption, there are international. The world is splitting into 2 parts.
Yeah.
It will not be Christian, Muslim, Jews, Hindu, Sikh, Sunni, Shia, Ahl Hadith, Barelvi or Deobandis and that stuff. It will be right on one side and wrong on the other side. It's splitting
Very
now.
simple,
You
yes.
see, the world, it's becoming mixing up. So in that, you can find out who are the murderers in the world, who have been created after the First World War. The result of the First World War are those people who are strictly, they've got one agenda to work in the Muslim from inside. And they are working, demolishing the sacred places, like the birthplace of Rasulullah, like the Muhalla Bani Hashim, like the graves and those places which were of importance. And you go to London, you go roam about in the streets. Tennyson was here. Shakespeare lived here. Such and such guy, he lived here. This personality lived here. They still put boards
Of course,
on their houses.
yes.
They remember their history.
Yeah.
And listen to these guys. They're burying their history.
know.
Shuhada of Uhud, their graves demolished. Shuhada of Badr, their graves demolished. The people who stood with Rasulullah, their graves demolished. You know, Yazid said there was no prophet and there was no revelation. But at that time, there were many people who were witness to what Rasulullah preached and what happened. So there were signs. So during those signs, he couldn't negate that. There was no prophet and there was nobody accepted that. Nobody would accept it. But now they are demolishing those signs. So one day, when a new Yazid comes, he will say, where are the signs? There are no signs here. We're demolishing everything. Kaaba in itself is becoming misfit in the surroundings of that 5-star hotels around it. Inside, it was already a misfit. I went 3 times for Hajj in 99, 2000, and 2001. You know what people ask me about my impression? I said, I don't feel anything. I don't have any impressions. You go to the masjid of Rasulullah. Outside, you see the jewelers shops and the wealth shops and the money shops and shoppings and all this. Where does this spirituality come from?
Yeah.
I have come there to leave my soul open. I have come to find out La ilaha here so that I can reach illallah. I don't find La ilaha here. Here all everything, wealth and worldly desires and all these are being fulfilled. Jewelry shops, gold, perfumes, this, clothes, toys, everything available as you come out of the masjid. Where is that?
They have built.
Allah separated us to an extent. He said, leave your clothes, leave your ornaments, leave your mobile phones, and with leaving everything, you come into and just feel Allah here. And you just go into the masjid, and as you come out, I've performed my duty. I've come here to wash my sins that I committed all my years of my life. Now I want to be clean and go to Allah. Or whatever I did, whatever I messed about in my life, now I want to be good, clean on the other side also. Or the worldly, I get everything, I did everything. Now I clean myself and go to. It's not that.
No, it's not. And that's a very good point
You
that
can't
you highlighted. Yeah.
So this is an important factor. So what's going on? Those are behind. They can't take another Imam Khomeini to come out in Africa.
Yeah.
They can't bear that because their system is shaky. They don't let people say the truth on the channel. One channel comes saying the truth, even if it's a small channel, they're shivering. Oh my God, oh, they've come out and how can we close it? They can't take one. They're so fragile. They're so weak. They're so scared. They're scared people. Those who are worried about that Allah should be happy with me, Allah make everything scared from them. They're frightened of such people. So they're frightened of Sheikh Zakzaky with 4 bullets in his body. If one son of anybody would have been killed, he would have been grieving that it would have been enough. Oh, I performed my duty, enough is enough. He's saying no. He's still standing and he'll remain standing. His soul is so strong. Just feel that soul. Don't feel the body of Sheikh Zakzaky. Don't see the body. See his soul. See his vision. See his thought. See his iman, how strong he is. It is a challenge for those who have been Muslim for 1400 years and are living today and doing earnings and spendings and lavish life and this life and that life. See, the role model is Sheikh Zakzaky, the Bilal of today.
You know, everything that you've said is just unbelievable, and it actually highlights it's not even about trying to figure out solutions, but what we can learn even at this time, even in this moment, for us to reflect upon ourselves. That's what I think we need to always take away from it. Even when we're standing there and we are trying to protest or we're trying to get things done. Like you said, we cannot just do rituals anymore. We need to look at ourselves and we need to improve ourselves and be like those examples. Because those examples are not there.
It is a time of practical Islam.
Yes.
This is not a time of theoretical Islam.
Exactly.
It is a time of practical shape of Islam.
Yeah.
Everything, the world is changing.
Absolutely.
See the changes. We are waiting for coming back of Imam Mahdi. We are waiting for the coming back of Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. We are waiting for them. Are we really waiting? I used to give an example that you see someone standing on the bus stop with towel on his shoulder and brushing his teeth. You say, what are you doing? So, I'm waiting for the bus. Will you believe him? You know, if you're waiting for the bus, you should have been ready. Are we ready for that? It's not something, a prototype that, we are watching him and we are doing this. No, we need to be result oriented.
Yes.
Our actions must bring results. It's not that I've done my demonstration, it's okay.
Exactly.
My actions must result in freedom of Sheikh Zakzaky. If that's not happening, I'm not satisfied with my actions. There's some deficiency in my actions. There's some deficiency in my speech. There's some deficiency in my movement. There's some deficiency in my behavior and attitude. There is some deficiency with my link with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah has sent him as a trial for us.
Yes.
If I fail in this trial, how can I pass in the trial of Imam Mahdi and Hazrat Isa alayhi salam?
SubhanAllah. No, those are very, very important points, and I think we all need to be more practical.
Tomorrow, we have got a demonstration. Every day there is a demonstration. There are people who want money, who are working, who want to be with their families. They are lying down outside the High Commission of Nigeria on the footpath. Why? They want to prove that my body, my soul, my thoughts, I don't give importance to anything in United Kingdom, in London, in this city where the people come as the tourists and watch this city. Their heart beat with Sheikh Ibrahim Zakzaky. Their mind and souls are there with them. Tomorrow we are having it from the side. There are many other organizations, but they told me that tomorrow you should do it from the side of Justice for Peace. And inshallah, we'll be there by 4 o'clock.
Whereabouts is this?
It's 4 o'clock, inshallah. And inshallah, we'll be there. It's a working day.
Yes.
There are congestion charges. There are other charges and other charges and other charges. We don't charge people for anyone. People come with their own free will.
Yes.
And we need free men. It's a free people who are required, who are free from the worldly needs and shackles of the world. Who are free. Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, when went onto the Koh Tur, you know, what did that magician do? Samiri, he made a calf with diamonds.
Yeah.
And it used to talk. He said, Hazrat Musa, go to the mount and talks to God. Listen, I have made this God for you. And he talks. And they started talking to him and worshipping that calf. Calf of Samri is everywhere. My car, my business, my family, my ethnic background, my geographical background, my worldly desires, everything is a calf of Samri. Wait for the Moses of this time, Imam Mahdi and Hazrat Isa to come. He was called for 30 days and Allah stopped him for 10 more days, and that became the trial for the people. Trial for those people who were relieved from the tyrant like Pharaoh, and they just 10 days they couldn't take a stand. So we should stand. Moses and his 124,000 messengers and their representative Imam Mahdi and Hazrat Isa will be here very soon. It's not a matter of Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Hinduism, Sikhism, atheist or ad. It's a matter of humanity. It's a matter of 98% of the world population, not the 2% wealthy ones who are gagging these 98% to get the benefits of this world and collect gold and money and dollars and pounds and all that stuff. Not for them. It's for the real humanity. We are all human beings. So what if somebody is born in a Christian family or a Jewish family or a Hindu family or a Sikh family? We need to stand up united. Once we stand, justice for peace and justice for all. United we stand, divided we fall.
Thank you so much. Inshallah, we will continue with these talks. And was there anything else that anyone else would like to say before we end the show? Because this is a very important topic, and I think that we need to go beyond just what's happening, like you've highlighted, and look at ourselves as individuals. And we need to go much further with our own actions and really represent and be more responsible. And I think that, you know, in this life, as you've mentioned, the history does repeat itself, and you know, we've seen things like before in different forms, and we need to be aware of that. It's dangerous. It's really dangerous, and it's not just for this generation but our future generations. And we need more leaders and role models, which inshallah next week we'll be talking more about that. And but yes, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much, Sister Zainab, Amy, for staying behind.
Thank you very much.
Molana Razavi, Sayyid, and Molana Musharaf. Thank you so much.
Allah bless you. Jazakallah khair.
No, thank you. And thank you so much, the viewers, for watching Open Dialogue tonight. Inshallah, we hope that we get your support for Sheikh Ibrahim Zakzaky and your du'as, and also with action into coming to these demonstrations, and also, you know, reflecting upon everything that's happened, everything that we've spoken about, and take away lessons. We're not here to just entertain and just give information. We're here to make a difference so that you can use in your own practices, in your own homes, amongst yourselves and your family, your children, your neighbors, and really spread what we really need to represent. Inshallah, we will continue with Open Dialogue next week, the same time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.